Hear nothing, now I hear everything. Testing 1 2 1 2. For one school. For one school, it's considered business as usual. For the other, it's a journey into history. Aledo softball is playing in its third consecutive state quarterfinal or regional title round, whichever you prefer. That's what happens when you build a program and play to a high standard of expectations. The behind-the-scenes work to get there over the years made this happen. For Abilene, this is an aspiring program that is hoping to create something similar. Today, the Lady Eagles are playing in their inaugural regional championship in school annals. NTX Varsity Sports welcomes you to Hogan Field here in Graham, the county seat of Young County, this afternoon for this winner-take-all, one-game Class 5A Division I Region I championship between the Aledo Ladycats and the Abilene Lady Eagles. I'm Kevin Lonnquist. I'm joined by my producer and engineer, Brian Torres. A trip to next week's state semifinals is on the line. Over the course of the next couple of hours, we're going to find out if Aledo has what it takes to return to the state semifinals for that third consecutive year, or if the new kid in town, Abilene, can pull off the upset. That's the beauty of a one-game playoff. The magnitude of every pitch, every out, and every base runner is heightened. There are no more tomorrows. This is it. Aledo is 28-10 and comes off a sweep of Lubbock Monterey in the regional semifinals last week. Abilene is 27-11-1. It rallied in last week's semifinal series against Richland, won the last two to take the series. It's a battle of aces. For Aledo, it turns to right-hander Tempe Perry. The sophomore is 13-4 with an ERA of 2.12. For Abilene, it's Ava Reyes. She's 19-6 with an ERA of 2.04. The winner meets two-time state champion Melissa or Prosper Walnut Grove in the state semifinals next week. That's coming out of Region 2. When we return on the pregame show, we have our visit with Aledo head coach Heather Myers. Then it's a look at the starting lineups and then the start of today's game. We'll also keep you posted on baseball. In fact, it just went final, and we'll tell you that here in just a second. You can hear all this action here on NTX Varsity Sports. But here we are in the 5A Division I Region I Championship against the Abilene Lady Eagles. As for the Bearcat baseball team, they just knocked off Amarillo High tonight, or this afternoon rather, over at Abilene Christian University by a score of 7-2. The Bearcats just swept that series, winning on Thursday by a score of 8-1. So the Bearcats are into the regional finals next week. In the meantime, Aledo Playoff Softball is a presentation of Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. We're back on ntxvarsitysports.com after this word.
They've got the diploma. Now give them something even more valuable: peace of mind. At Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth, Mazda vehicles are built with advanced safety technology to help protect your new driver with every trip. And right now, get 0% APR for 72 months on the Mazda CX-90 plug-in hybrid, a smarter, safer SUV for the road ahead. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Send them safe so they can drive with confidence.
Pre-game show continues. Now time to visit with Aledo head coach Heather Myers before the Ladycats play in this Class 5A Division I Region I Championship or state quarterfinal, whichever you want to call it. And here in Graham as the Ladycats take on Abilene. And Coach, let's just talk a little bit about last week's sweep of Lubbock Monterey. Very impressive, especially in the second game. But I thought the way that you all approached that first game, winning a nail-biter 3-1, kind of seemed to set the tone for game two. Talk about that.
Sure. Well, we came in kind of expecting what we saw pitching-wise, but we didn't really know what they were going to throw, so we made adjustments as quick as we could in game one, and were able to pull it out. Obviously, some big timely hits came in, and then game two, we made one single adjustment, really, to get off the plate, so it'd clear us up to hit that inside pitch, and I think it helped us.
I know we talked on the podcast about Braylee Myers' explosion at the plate. Yes. 6 home runs for the regular season, 4 in this postseason. She's now your team leader with 10. What's been the difference in terms of just her approach at the plate? And obviously she's seeing whatever's they're throwing at her because some of them are leaving the ballpark.
I think it just goes to the maturity of being a senior, and she's comfortable in the box. Nothing's too big for her at this time. She's seriously showing her maturity at the plate. Super disciplined, and we talk about it all the time, and she's just showing that at the plate. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about this. And I happen to notice in all these other regional final series that they're all best-of-3 series except you all. But you all have been through this before with the one-game format. You did this 2 rounds ago against Pascal. You've done it before in other playoff series. Did it last year. But is there any difference, though, about playing it because you have a chance to go to the state semifinals rather than it being a by-district round or an area playoff game, whether it's so far out to trying to get to a state championship? Yeah, I think it's a little different. There's obviously going to be a little more pressure because, of course, we want to make it to state again. But I think it goes back to, again, like I was saying about Braylee with the maturity. We've been here, we've done this. So even in a one-game series, I feel like we're going to pull it out. Backs against the wall, we usually play better anyway. Okay,
Tempe Perry gets the ball once again this afternoon. And we talked on the podcast, maybe her command wasn't where it needed to be. You talked about maybe the strike zone wasn't fair in some respects, but it is what it is. So what do you want to see from her, and what does a catcher like Braylee mean for her in terms of just getting through pitch to pitch, inning to inning, batter to batter?
Tempe's going to have to be consistent pounding the zone. Her spin is great. If we can get them to chase, if they're undisciplined, it's going to help us out a lot. But with Braylee behind the plate, she brings a lot of stability and calm. Tempe's really good at regulating herself. She really is. But when she calls those timeouts, she's just looking for Braylee to be that calm in the storm for her. And Braylee does a really good job of stealing strikes sometimes. So great blocker, great framer, great overall catcher, so it's really nice to have her behind the plate for our pitchers. You're playing a team in Abilene making their first ever appearance in the regional finals. I'm sure it's history for them. They upset Richland last week, and so what do you think you're going to, or what do you want to expect, or I should say, what do you expect from them? Because they're obviously going to be fired up to be here, and I don't think it's going to be a team that's just going to be happy to be here. They know how close they are too. Yeah, they're not going to lay down. They're coming to play. They've been coached well. Jenna's a great coach. So she's got them fired up already. She always gets her teams to play for her, and this is no different. So I expect them to give us a game. Now, you and Jenna Aguirre go back. You're longtime friends. What's the thing about her teams that maybe you knew years before, and then as you're getting ready to play them this week, what's changed or what's the same? Just like I said, that she always gets them to play. It doesn't matter the caliber of ball player that she has. She can have great. She's had kids that go to Texas, that have gone to Texas, and she's had kids that don't go and play ball at all in college, and she still gets them to play for her. So I think that attests to, speaks to her quality as a coach. She's good. All right. And then finally for you, kind of a homecoming. You get to play this game in your hometown of Graham. What's that like for you? Oh, it's so nostalgic. I'm just kidding. It's nice. I've seen this field, and I wish that I could have played on something like this in high school. But honestly, since I've seen it built, I've wanted to come and play. I like the stands. I like the atmosphere. It's nice to be able to come to your hometown and hopefully get a win. All right. Appreciate the time. Good luck this afternoon. Thank you. All right. Pre-game show continues following this timeout. And you're listening to Aledo Ladycats playoff softball on NTXVarsitySports.com.
Timeout. All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Back here at Hogan Field in Young County in Graham, Texas for this Class 5A Division I Region 1 Championship. Kevin Lonnquist coming to you from the Hiley Mazda broadcast table. And let's get a look at the starting lineups. By the way, this is a very, very nice field here for softball. It's an all-field turf surface here for the Lady Blues program here. This was donated by one of their favorite daughters of Graham, but again, the Lady Blues, they've put together an outstanding facility here. It's covered. All the stands are covered here. So, and we also have the lights on, so they possibly will take effect. And we have overcast skies, and the wind is blowing something fierce. It is blowing very strong out of the east, and it's pushing those flags very much to the west, and so we should have some interesting fly balls hit to the outfield, especially toward left and center field. Okay, let's take a look at the starting lineups for this afternoon's Region 1 Championship game. Abilene will be the visitors in this one. They will start off with their center fielder, that's Brianna Reed. She will be followed by the shortstop, Mariah Estrada. Batting third will be the third baseman, KK Gonzalez. Batting fourth, the cleanup hitter, the catcher, Alicia Gutierrez. Batting fifth, the first baseman, Bella Roca. Batting sixth, and in left field is Andrea Starks. Batting seventh, the designated player is Jules Holt. Batting eighth will be the right fielder, Jaslyn Johnston Burns. And on the mound with a record of 19-6 and an ERA of 2.04 is Ava Reyes. She is batting ninth. Playing second base today for the Lady Eagles will be Lily Pachikino. She will be at second base. Now for the Lady Cats, who are the home team in this one. They lost the flip of going series or one game, but they did win the flip in terms of being the home team in this game. So let's take a look at Heather Myers Ball Club. They will start off with the tip of the spear. That'll be Delaney Rosser, the shortstop. Batting second will be the pitcher, Tempe Perry. Again, Perry, a record of 13-4, an ERA of 2.12. Batting third will be the third baseman, Kylie Pollock. Batting fourth will be the designated player, Riley Marks. Batting fifth and playing in right field will be Kaylee Martin. Batting sixth and playing at first base is Brooklyn Taloa. Batting seventh will be the left fielder, Kennedy Cardenas. Batting eighth will be the center fielder, Kellen Overturf. And then batting ninth, the catcher, the boomstick, Braylee Meyer. She is batting ninth. Behind the backstop, she will be catching Tempe Perry. And then playing at second base today for the Lady Cats will be Autumn Goodell. She will be over at second base. While we have a moment, because both teams have not been formally introduced, let's take a look at these other regional championship matchups that are going on right now. There's four, of course, Region 2, Region 3, and Region 4. Those three are best of three series. This is the only one that is a one-game playoff. But in Region 2, Melissa taking on Prosper Walnut Grove. Melissa won the opener in last night's series. That's a best of three series. They beat Walnut Grove by a score of 14-2. Melissa now at 32-2, and of course that program trying to make a run toward a third consecutive state championship. Walnut Grove is now 24-15-1. Game 2 is tonight, a 6 o'clock start over at Melissa. If Walnut Grove can get it to a third game, that'll be on Saturday, a noon start over at McKinney Boyd. Over in Region 3, this is a really good matchup between Barbers Hill and LaPorte. LaPorte won the first one last night by a score of 3-1. Today is a 6:30 start. That's over at LaPorte. LaPorte is at 29-4. Barbers Hill is at 35-4. Now, if Barbers Hill can force a third game, Saturday will be a 1 o'clock start over at Crosby. And then Region 4, Leander taking on Smithson Valley. Leander won the first game impressively by a score of 11-1. Game 2 will be this evening, a 7 o'clock start over at Dripping Springs. Smithson Valley has to win it in order to force a third game, which would be on Saturday over at Dripping Springs as well. The lineup cards are being exchanged here between both Heather Myers and the head coach for Abilene. That is Jenna Aguirre. Now, she spells her name Aguirre. If that spelling sounds familiar, and if you're a little bit long in the tooth like me, that's the same spelling for former Dallas Maverick great Mark Aguirre, but she pronounces it Aguirre. So Mark Aguirre and Jenna Aguirre, no relation, of course. She's actually married to an assistant football coach on the Abilene football team. She made a funny comment to me as we were getting ready for this ball game. She goes, my maiden name is Bain, and I went to a really tough last name as I got married. I'm like, well, that's what you sign up for when you get married. But anyway, the lineup cards are being exchanged between the two teams. Let's tell you how they're dressed for this one. Abilene is in all black, white, with white numbers and white lettering across the front of their jersey. So that's black over black, black jerseys over black pants, and they are wearing the black ball caps here. Of course, the Abilene's colors are black and gold. Not a lot of gold in their ensemble here in this uniform combination. Now for the Ladycats, they are in their pinstripes, their home white pinstripes here. They are white over white, of course. They have the Aledo and block lettering across the front of their jerseys. That's in all black with the orange outline there. And the Ladycats were going there through their traditional hacky sack routine before they were announcing the starting lineups. There are no outfield dimensions in terms of how far it is from to the foul pole or to the center, to the alleys or to dead center field, but it's probably going to be your typical outfield in terms of how softball is played. Again, this is an all-field turf surface here. Coaches have broken up, and we will have 3 umpires in this game. We will have one behind the plate, and then we'll have umpires on the bases here as we're about to get this one underway between the Aledo Ladycats and the Abilene Lady Eagles. Again, 3rd consecutive year for the Ladycats to make the regional championship game, trying to get back to the state semifinals for the 3rd consecutive year. And of course, if they are successful in getting to the state semifinals, that would be their 9th appearance. They have made 8 appearances in the state semifinals, those starting in 2008, then 2013, 2014, 2015, 2021, missed in 2022, missed in 2023, then in 2024 and 2025. And of course, Aledo, a 3-time state champion between 2008, 2014 and 2015. They were a state finalist in 2021. Abilene, this is uncharted territory for you. As we mentioned, Jenna Aguirre in her 5th season at Abilene High. She has a record of 176 and 117 and 2 ties at Abilene. She's 117, 57, and 2 in her 5th season there running this Lady Eagles program. Again, this was a program that lost the first game to Richland last week, but then came back to win the last 2, 3-1, and then 9-0 here. And actually, Jenna Aguirre and Heather Myers, pretty good friends, and so it was pretty easy in terms of just trying to put things together for this one-game playoff. Of course, Heather Myers wanted to go series. Jenna Aguirre kind of looking at where her team stacked up potentially against Aledo, wanted to take her chances with the one game, and so the coin was favoring her on the time when the coaches flipped about this and got this thing set up. Again, if you're just joining us or you're switching over from the baseball game, we can tell you that the Bearcat baseball team has captured the Region 1 semifinal matchup against Amarillo, winning Game 2 this afternoon over at Abilene Christian University by a score of 7-2. They won last night's opener by a score of 8-1. They were actually down early in that first game out there at ACU, down 1-0, and then the Bearcats were able to get 3 in the 4th inning, tack on some more runs to build an 8-1 lead, and then put that one away behind Lucas Naraki. And again, the Bearcats this afternoon, they had jumped out to a 7-0 lead early. Amarillo came back with a couple of runs, but the Bearcats moving on. Bearcats are now 34-3 for the season. And Amarillo was having a really good season as well. They came into that series at 32-4, but the Bearcats swept them just like they did last year in the regional semifinals. So the Bearcats will be awaiting the regional finals matchup. We should tell you that in that situation there, in terms of the regional matchup here, they would be getting the winner of Birdville, and let's see how Birdville is taking on. They were taking on El Paso Americas, and that series is looking to be maybe a split. Actually, they lost the first game, so they could be playing El Paso Americas. They lost the first game last night by a score of 3-2. They're trailing Game 2 this afternoon by a score of 7-0 in that game. So if America wins, they will sweep that series, and Birdville will be out, and so Aledo will probably be returning to or somewhere out in West Texas to play this regional championship matchup against El Paso Americas, which again is looking to try and sweep that series. Teams are in the final stages of being introduced. Then we'll have the playing of our national anthem here. Kevin Locke was happy to be with you, along with my producer, Brian Torres. Now, time for our national anthem. Moments away from the start of this afternoon's Class 5A Division I Region I Championship game. By the way, that had a hint of the fighting Texas Aggie band doing that national anthem. Again, the Ladycats will be on the field first as Abilene will take its cuts in this opening inning here in the county seat of Young County in Graham. My first trip ever to be out here in Graham. I really enjoyed the drive out here. It was kind of picturesque, a little bit of some canyon areas that I crossed through, and again, very windy afternoon here, but overcast skies, so we're not going to be bothered by the heat too much. We're in the mid-80s this afternoon. Overcast skies. It's probably going to stick with us for the entire afternoon. There was kind of a threat of rain, at least around 20% is what they were saying for the Dallas-Fort Worth area. Not sure of how much that would have applied out here to Graham, which is about an hour and a half to the northwest of Aledo. About a 2-hour drive for me from where I was coming from, but I learned some 2-lane roads in Texas that I'd never been on before, but thank goodness for the Maps app and GPS to get out here, because this was not the easiest of drives in terms of just navigating your way out here. But nonetheless, we are here and we're happy to bring you this Class 5A Division I Region I Championship game. Let's set the Ladycats for you defensively. Behind the plate is Braylee Meyer. She will be catching Tempe Perry. Over at first base will be Brooklyn Taloa. Over at second base will be Autumn Goodell. Over at third base is Kylie Pollock. And then doing the job at shortstop will be Delaney Rosser. Out in left field is Kennedy Cardenas. In center field is Kellen Overturf. And then over in right field is Kaylee Martin. So, Ladycats are about to get ready underway here. Again, the winner moves on to the state semifinals. Ladycats are looking to make their 8th appearance in the state semifinals. Of course, this is their 8th appearance in the state quarterfinals, so we already know that they're making a living doing that. And of course, every game that Aledo plays could be its last as a Class 5A program, moving up to Class 6A starting in August. And so we should tell you, by the way, if you're wondering about when the athletic calendar starts in 2026, 2027, volleyball will go first on August 1st, and then football will start on August 3rd for the programs that did not have spring football. Of course, Aledo was not one of them. So here we go. Brianna Reed steps into the batter's box for Abilene in this game. Reed hitting at .427. She has a home run, and she's knocked in 12. Left-handed hitter facing Tempe Perry, and off we go here in Graham. She shows bunt and takes outside for ball one, 1-0. Pollock is charging in from third base on that showing of the bunt. Reed asking for time to get herself set. She crowds that right-handed or left-handed hitter's batter's box, and the 1-0 offering is taken high again for ball two, 2-0. Now, Perry did have a little bit of command issues last week in the regional semifinal series against Lubbock Monterey. Had 8 walks between her two, or 9 walks rather, between her two starts. Behind 2-0, rocks and brings it in. And it's taken in there for a strike, and it's 2-1. We got a delayed call from the plate umpire on that, so we're going to have to wait for him when he makes his call. 2 balls and a strike here in the opening pitches of this regional championship game. Perry winds And the right-hander brings in the 2-1, and it's skipping in there for ball 3, 3-1. Count leverage situation now for Reed. Should get a pitch that she wants, but she's probably going to make Perry get it in there. Right-hander winds and deals at 3-1, and the pitch is a comebacker right to Perry. Easy throw to first, and there's one down. So Reed got the pitch that she wanted at 3-1, but it hit it right back to the pitcher, and it's a 1-3 putout, and that's how we begin here in Young County. That'll bring up Mariah Estrada, the shortstop. Estrada for the year, hitting at .333. She has a home run, and she is the team second on the team in RBIs with 30. Right-handed hitter. Perry brings it in, and she goes off speed, and she tosses in a strike, and it's 0-1. Perry rocks in the 0-1 pitch, and that is on the outside corner for strike 2, and it's 0-2. Perry for the year, she has struck out 89, walked 42, and the pitch is taken away for ball 1, 1, and 2. So her strikeouts to walk ratio has been really, really good. Better than 2-1, and that's always what you'd like. Of course, she's just a sophomore, and so the more she pitches, and she'll be pitching this summer, of course, the more that number should change. Pitch is swung on, grounded to short. Rosser has it, fires over to Taloa, and the out is recorded at first. 6-3 on the putout, and 2 up and 2 down for Abilene here in the first. That'll bring up KK Gonzalez. Gonzalez for the year, hitting at .404 with a home run, and she leads, and she has 31 RBIs to lead this team. Right-handed hitter. She is one of several over the 400 mark in this Abilene lineup. She swings and lines one right to third base. An easy grab for Pollock, and the inning is over. 1, 2, 3, go. The Lady Eagles here in the top half of the first. Lady Cats coming to bat. There is no score.
What's the biggest myth about interscholastic performing arts? That you have to be the most talented or experienced to participate. The truth is, anyone can be a part of their school's performing arts. There are countless opportunities for students to participate, from theater, choir, and band to speech and debate. The bottom line, if you want to perform, there's a place for you.
This message presented by the NFHS and the UIL.
Fans, mark your calendars. The 2026 UIL State Softball Championships take place May 28th through the 30th at Red and Charlene McCombs Field on the University of Texas at Austin campus. Schedule, spectator, and ticket information can be found at uiltexas.org/softball. Again, that's uiltexas.org/softball. Kevin Lonnquist and my producer engineer Brian Torres here on the Hiley Mazda broadcast table. The Lady Eagles failed to score. Let's set them defensively. They will be behind the plate is going to be Alicia Gutierrez. On the mound, of course, is Ava Reyes, the right-hander. At first base is Bella Roca. Over at second base is Lily Pachacano. Over at shortstop is Mariah Estrada, and at third is KK Gonzalez. The outfield from left to right, Andrea Starks in left. Center fielder is Brianna Reed, and over in right field is Jaslyn Johnston Burns. Lady Cats will go with their top of the order. Of course, Delaney Rosser will lead things off. She'll be followed by Tempe Perry, and then Kylie Pollock here, shortstop, first baseman, and the third baseman. Calling Delaney Rosser the tip of the spear of this Lady Cats lineup, as she has had a phenomenal season. Rosser on the year hitting at .365, 6 home runs, 27 RBIs. Holds that bat on her shoulder as she waits Reyes to get on the rubber. And off we go in the bottom of the first inning, and the pitch is down low for ball 1-0. Rosser again, 6 home runs. This team for Aledo has hit 48 home runs. on the year. Reyes, who does wear the mask, and it is taken low for ball 2, 2-0. Rosser steps out of the batter's box, walks away from the dirt cutout, or what would be called the dirt cutout, to take a practice swing. Now she gets back in there, ahead in the count at 2-0. Reyes kind of having a little bit of a clubhouse meeting with herself, now stands on the rubber, and the 2-0 pitch is taken. It actually hits Rosser, and she will go to first base. It came inside, but it plunked her on the left arm, and so Delaney Rosser is aboard, being hit by a pitch, and so the Lady Cats have their leadoff runner aboard. It was interesting to note, too, by the way, with Delaney Rosser, she did not have many official at-bats in that series last week against Monterey. Scored a bunch of runs, but it was either she was aboard on via hit, batter, or walk. But again, she did her job getting on base and setting the table for this team. Rosser's on-base percentage only going up after that. She came into that plate appearance at .547. Now Tempe Berry to see if she can help herself here with a runner at first. First baseman Roca charges from first, showing bunt does Perry, and she takes it down low for ball 1, 1-0. Reyes has yet to throw a strike here. Puts her hand on that field turf to try and get rid of some of the moisture on that so she can get kind of a dry hold of the ball as she kind of fires that ball into her glove. She has yet to throw a strike in these opening pitches, and the pitch is swung on and popped up. Infield fly right in front of the catcher's area. It's between the catcher's mound, home plate area and the pitcher's mound, and the third baseman Gonzalez comes in to take care of it. So Perry is out on a pop fly to third, and there's one out as Rosser remains at first base. Now Kylie Pollock steps to the plate. Pollock coming in, hitting at .411, 7 home runs, 39 RBIs, which leads this team. Right-handed hitter as always, open stance as she stands deep in the right-handed batter's box. Pitch is taken for a strike, and it's 0-1. Abilene went 1-2-3 in its half of the first inning. Now Aledo's turn here in this one-game winner-take-all playoff for the right to get to the state semifinals. Reyes brings it in, and she throws it past Pollock, who swings and misses, and it's 0-2. She went in on her and tied up Pollock, and she had no chance on that pitch. It's now 0-2. Riley Marks, the designated player, waits next. Reyes looks in to Gutierrez for a sign, comes in 0-2, and the pitch is swung on and pulled foul. It hits off the dugout down the third baseline and caroms into foul territory before it's retrieved. By the way, Aledo has the first base dugout, Abilene has the third base dugout, and a pretty good crowd has gathered here for this game. Very comfortable conditions for this game. If we could just knock the wind off by about maybe 10, 15 miles, we'd all be sitting pretty right now. But I don't think we're going to get that. Pitch is swung on a check swing, and it's going to fall into center field for a base hit. Station-to-station baseball as Pollock hits a single to center field. Rosser will go to second base, and so the Lady Cats have runners at first and second and one out for Riley Marks. Marks for the year hitting at .376, 9 home runs, second on the team in that category, 35 RBIs, also second on the team in that category. And of course, she's one of the prime starting pitchers for this team, but hasn't made an appearance on the mound since Game 2 of the opening playoff series against Birdville. The pitch is taken for a strike, and it's 0-1. So an early chance for the Lady Cats here in the first inning. Rosser hit by a pitch. Perry then popped to third. And now Pollock with a soft single into center field. And the pitch is bouncing in for ball 1, 1-1. Well, you can feel those gusts coming right through that microphone here. Not only mine, but also the crowd mic, which is positioned right behind home plate. It is howling here. It's beyond 18. It's probably in the 20 plus. Pitch is inside and it clips Marks, and she will go to first base. It got her on the leg, And so the second hit batter for the Ladycats in this inning, and they now have the bases loaded with one out here in the bottom of the first inning. A golden opportunity to get the early jump, and now it's Kaylee Martin's turn. Martin for the year at .298, 5 home runs and 20 RBIs for her. Time called as Jenna Aguirre, the head coach, comes out there to have a meeting with everybody on the infield to talk about what they want to do here. And so while they're doing that, Heather Myers grabs all of her base runners, and of course the batter, Kaylee Martin, in there. Again, Delaney Rosser is at third. Kylie Pollock is at second. Riley Marks is at first. This inning started when Rosser was hit by a pitch. Pollock then softly singled into center field, and then Marks was hit by a pitch. So, Ladycats with a golden opportunity to take advantage of some wildness on the part of Ava Reyes. Reyes, who is a senior. Infield is charging in to see if they can cut off the run at the plate. And the pitch on the way is swung on and a comebacker right to the mound. Could be a double play. Out at second one, on to first, and not in time. So the out is recorded at home plate to cut down Rosser, but everybody moves up 90 feet as Martin reaches on the fielder's choice. So 2 down. So Pollock goes to third, Marks goes to second, and Martin reaches on the fielder's choice, and she just barely beat that throw from Gutierrez to the first baseman, Roca. So 2 outs. Reyes now with a chance to get out of this inning. Ladycats don't want to leave them loaded. But here's Brooklyn Taloa standing in the batter's box. Again, the Ladycats with all right-handed batters for the most part. She tries to hold up on a swing and can't do it. And Taloa is down in the count at 0-1 here. So 2 outs, bottom of the first. Taloa at the plate. This would be a big swing in momentum if Abilene can get out of it. Of course, Aledo the other way if they can take advantage of it. The pitch is taken outside for ball 1, 1-0. No score, bottom of the first inning, but Aledo threatening here to take the early lead. Reyes stands on the mound, leads with her right foot, and the 1-1 pitch is taken over the inside corner for strike 2, 1-2. We are positioned off to the right of the plate umpire, so we are not directly behind home plate. Kind of, again, you have to wait because it's a delayed call, although you can hear his grunt when he does signal a strike. 1-2 pitch. Check swing foul back to the screen, and it stays 1-2. Taloa just barely getting a piece of that to stay alive and keep the inning going here. Ball 1 and strike 2 to Brooklyn Taloa here, last of the first inning, no score. And the pitch is taken outside and away. Ball 2, 2-2. The Ladycats with a soft single to center field and 2 batters hit by pitch have loaded it up. Two pitch. Swung on, hit high in the air to right field. Chasing back is Johnson Burns, and she makes the catch. That wind, which is going to left, will hold balls up in right field, and so Johnson Burns had a chance to get under it, and she does, and makes the catch, and the inning is over. Ladycats are turned away with a single and 2 batters hit by a pitch. We go to the second inning here in Graham, no score.
They've got the diploma. Now give them something even more valuable: peace of mind. At Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth, Mazda vehicles are built with advanced safety technology to help protect your new driver with every trip. And right now, get 0% APR for 72 months on the Mazda CX-90 plug-in hybrid, a smarter, safer SUV for the road ahead. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Send them safe so they can drive with confidence.
Kevin Lundquist and my producer engineer Brian Torres here at the Hiley Mazda broadcast table here, and we try to attempt to reduce the wind as I switched the microphone from my left ear to my right ear, so hopefully that's helping a little bit in terms of just the wind that is blowing out of here. go to the top of the second inning here. No score between Aledo and Abilene. It'll be 4, 5, and 6 for the Lady Eagles here. They'll start off with their catcher, Alicia Gutierrez, first baseman, Bella Roca, and then the left fielder, Andrea Starks. Here in Graham, again, this is just a marvelous facility, and the baseball field is right behind us, too. They're hosting a playoff series over there, and it's basically made in the same image. Perry's first pitch of the second inning is delivered, and it is in their first strike, and it's 0-1. For Gutierrez, having a phenomenal season, hitting at .408. She leads. She is second on this team with home runs with 5 and has 24 runs driven in. Right-handed batter. Waits the 0-1, and the pitch is sliding in there for ball 1, 1-1. This Lady Eagles team hitting collectively at .349. Not nearly as many home runs as Aledo. They have only 15. And of course, Aledo has 48. 1-1 pitch is off speed, and it's inside for ball 2, 2-1. Where Perry took something off of that, thinking that she could get that thing over there, and it was close, but it was just a little bit too inside. So Gutierrez ahead in the count at 2-1. Pollard plays pretty even with the bag at third, and here's the 2-1 pitch. Swung on and bounced foul behind the plate, and it's 2-2. The outfield is playing straight away. Pretty much a little bit more of a gap in left center for that. Now showing bunt is Gutierrez with the count at 2-2. Keeps showing bunt, now takes the bat back, and she swings and lines it into center field. That's a solid single to center, and Abilene has its first base hit of the game. Well, she is hitting .408 for a reason, so she's a really good batter here. So she's aboard with a leadoff single. That'll bring up Bella Roca. Roca on the season, hitting at .398. No home runs and 23 RBIs. She's batting in the 5th spot in this batting order here. Now we have a courtesy runner for Abilene, as Claire Segal will come in to run for Gutierrez, the catcher. Typically that'll happen in both softball and baseball, that if the pitcher and or the catcher reach base, they're going to have a runner for them. So Segal is at first base in the place of Gutierrez. First offering is swung on line to Rosser, who climbs the ladder, makes the catch, and they get the double play off of first as Segal went too far off the bag, and the double play is recorded. Pretty easy there by Delaney Rosser to go to Brooklyn Taloa for the 6-3 double play. And that's the one thing that you got it for the runners, especially for a ball hit in front of you. Make the line drive go through, and she did not do that, and so there are quickly 2 outs here in the bottom of the top of the second inning. Now Andrea Starks, the left fielder, and it's 0-1 on a foul ball, and so she was attempting to butt on that with Starks. She's hitting at .310, has a home run, and has driven in 21 runs for the year. Right-handed batter. Perry nervously twitching that ball in her right hand as she gets ready to make her pitch at 0-1. The pitch is hit high and foul down the left field line, and the wind just grabbed that thing and pushed it into the gravel parking lot over by the Yellow Dog buses that are positioned to our left beyond the left field foul pole. So it's no balls and 2 strikes. If Starks can get on base, that will bring up Jules Holt, who is the designated plitter. 2 strikes the pitch, and it is taken low for ball 1, 1-2. No score here, top of the second inning. A double play ball for the Lady Cats has erased a leadoff base runner. Perry Reedsmeyer, now time called as Perry took too long and Starks didn't want to wait any longer, and so she steps out of the batter's box to regather herself. These teams have combined for 55 wins this year. Aledo 28 and Abilene 27. Showing bunt once again is Starks. She's down in the count, 1-2 in the pitch. She checks her swing. Meyer throws to first to complete the out, and they appeal to first, but no swing. Good move, though, by Meyer because it was a check swing in the dirt. She picked it up and threw to Taloa at first, but it was a delayed call. They appealed to the first base umpire, who said no swing, so the count now at 2-2. Showing bunt once again as starts. Now the 2-2 pitch. Swung on and missed. Strike 3, and the inning is over. A base hit, a double play, and nothing else, and we go to the bottom of the second inning. It's Abilene nothing and Aledo nothing.
What's the biggest myth about interscholastic performing arts? That you have to be the most talented or experienced to participate. The truth is, anyone can be a part of their school's performing arts. There are countless opportunities for students to participate, from theater, choir, and band to speech and debate. The bottom line, if you want to perform, there's a place for you.
This message presented by the NFHS and the UIL.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Back here in the prairie of Northwest Texas here, the Ladycats coming to bat in the bottom of the second inning. They will start with Kennedy Cardenas, the left fielder, Kellen Overturf in center field, and then Braylee Meyer, the catcher. 7, 8, and 9 for Aledo, which unfortunately left the bases loaded back in the first inning. So Cardenas steps in. She's hitting at .467, no home runs, 6 RBIs. Right-handed batter, and the pitch is taken in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. Happy to have you with us here on ntxvarsitysports.com. We're broadcasting to you from the Hiley Mazda broadcast table. Want to thank them for their support throughout the course of these playoff games between both basketball, baseball, and softball. One strike pitch is taken inside for ball 1, 1-1. And of course, Hiley Mazda is a sponsor of the Aledo Coaches Show podcast, which will be airing this coming Monday at 7 o'clock, and we will have both Chad Berry on and Heather Myers, and we'll also have a third segment with head football coach Robbie Jones, as Aledo football just finished up spring football this past Wednesday. Pitch is taken skipping in there for ball 2, 2-1. We are feeling some raindrops here, not a lot. Again, it is overcast. Maybe it's just kind of the spitting variety, but not a lot. Pitch is swung on and foul back. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes to Cardenas. Again, about a 20 to 25% chance of rain here in this game. The good thing about this being a field turf surface is that if it does rain, it can absorb and run off the field pretty quickly, so there wouldn't be much time needed. All you would really need to do is cover the bases or remove them. You can remove the bases, you can't with the pitcher's mound and the home plate. Pitch is swung on and fouled off the screen to the right, and the count remains even at 2 balls and 2 strikes. But again, to finish up the point on the Coaches Show podcast, a 7 o'clock start over at Parker County Brewing Company. We want to thank Parker County Brewing Company for being a partner throughout the course of the 2025-26 school year. We will be out on the patio this coming Monday night. Pitch is taken inside for ball 3, 3-2. So Cardenas has worked it full here in her initial plate appearance. Overturf waits next. Reyes with a long pause now steps back into the circle on the mound, and the payoff pitch is swung on and hit down the right field line, but curving away foul, and that actually goes into the bullpen area. To give you a feel of this ballpark, there's a little pond off to the right over the right field wall and more or less over on the foul side of this ballpark. And then there's some homes that are off to the distance and some warehouses. But it's wide open air, and there's a lot of room to work with here. And the pitch is swung and grounded slowly to short. Estrada gloves, throws, and it's off the glove of Roca, who can't hold it. That throw is taking Roca toward Cardenas, and she had tried to stay on the bag as long as she could, but that ball was starting to tail the wind. I'm wondering if the wind kind of had something to do with that. That's going to be an error on the throw. It's a tough error, but Cardenas reaches, and so Aledo has its leadoff batter on for the second consecutive inning, and that'll bring up Kellen Overturf. Overturf for the year hitting at .310, no home runs, 12 RBIs. The only left-handed batter in this lineup for head coach Heather Myers. First pitch to her is taken in there on the outside corner for strike one, 0-1. Bottom of the second inning, no score. Each team does have a base hit. Overturf rests that bat on her back left shoulder, now picks it up, and the pitch is taken away for ball one, 1-1. Definitely want to thank Graham head coach and athletic director Clava Christian and facilities director Mike Carroll for their assistance making this broadcast happen. The 1-1 pitch is bunted foul off to the third base side of home plate, and it's now a ball and 2 strikes. The other dynamic about both these baseball and softball fields is that they are not on the Graham campus. They're about 5-10 minute drive away from the Graham campus, but did pass by Graham High School on the way over here. At Newton Fielder Football Stadium, that's as good a football field as you'll see at the lower classification level. That's a really good looking football field. Ball 1 and strike 2, and Reyes' pitch is very high for ball 2, 2-2. Cardenas leads off at first base. She reached on the error. Again, we apologize for the win, but there's not a lot we can do about that. 2 balls, and I'm just hoping for maybe we can get something to get a lull in the wind, but it's just constant. Pitch is taken outside for ball 3, 3-2. But it is May in Texas, and that's usually what you get, is those southerly breezes that just, although this wind is pushing from east to west. Ball 3 and strike 2 to Overturf, and the pitch is swung on and missed, strike 3, and that's out number 1. First strikeout for Reyes, and that'll bring up Braylee Meyer. Braylee for the year at .368 leads this team with 10 home runs, 27 driven in on the season. Again, she's had a huge postseason. She had 2 home runs, or 3 home runs rather, in last week's semifinal series against Lubbock Monterey. Her other home run came in the clinching game. Pitch is bouncing and it gets away from the catcher Gutierrez, and down to second base on the wild pitch goes Cardenas. So another runner in scoring position for the Ladycats. But to continue on Meyer, her other home run came in that clinching opening round playoff series against Birdville when Aledo won that game 10-0. Runner at second, 1 out to Meyer, and the pitch is taken in there for a strike, and it's 1-1. Rosser, the leadoff batter, waits next for Aledo here in the bottom of the second inning. No score, and the pitch is taken just a little bit away for ball 2, 2-2. Excuse me, 2-1. Outfield playing pretty well straight away. Reed is right in front of the big Graham logo in center field. Starks is playing a little bit deeper in left field because of obviously that wind that's pushing toward left. And the pitch is taken inside for ball 3, 3-1. This is a situation where even though Meyer is the number 9 hitter with her huge offensive performance in this postseason, you got to be careful with her. There's power at the bottom of this Aledo lineup. Ball 3 and strike 1 to Meyer here. The right-handed hitting catcher waits, and the pitch. And that's taken in there for strike 2, 3-2. She took a step toward first, and then the umpire called her back. So we will do this now at a full count at 3 balls and 2 strikes to Braylee Meyer. Right-handed hitter gets into her crouch, awaiting this payoff pitch with Cardenas at second base. And the pitch is swung on and fouled at the plate. Meyer just got a piece of that off-speed pitch, and it remains full at 3-2. Reyes steps on the rubber. Now the 3-2 pitch again is taken high for ball 4. And Meyer does draw that walk that she thought she earned a couple of pitches ago. So the Lady Cats now have runners at first and second with 1 out. And now Delaney Rosser, her second plate appearance. Remember, she got hit by a pitch a few moments ago. Now we're going to have a runner for Meyer as she will be pinch run for. Now here's Rosser. Runners at first and second, 1 out. Aledo another chance to take the lead. They left the bases loaded back in the first inning. Reyes checks and delivers, and she throws inside the inside corner for strike 1, 0-1. And now Rosser takes a long walk away from the batter's box to kind of regather herself. Didn't like that call. You could tell she didn't like that call. Maddie Martinak is the pinch runner, by the way, for Meyer at first base. 1 strike pitch is swung on and pulled foul over Heather Meyer's head and down the line. Easily foul. She was way out in front of that pitch. And it's 0-2. Runners at first and second. 1 out here, last of the second inning, no score. Aledo has had a lot of traffic on the base pass, but nothing to show for it. The pitch is swung on and foul back. And Rosser just spoiling a pretty good pitch there to keep the count at 0-2. Reyes goes through her pre-pitch routine, now steps up on the rubber, and the pitch is taken high for ball 1, 1-2. Rosser for the year with an on-base percentage, as we mentioned, at .547. That obviously improved with being hit by the pitch, but an OPS of 1.245, and then a slugging percentage of just a couple of ticks below 700. Had a phenomenal year, and she takes just outside for ball 2, 2-2. The Abilene fans, and actually they call it the delayed strike 3 call. So Rosser is out on strikes. Well, there's a late call from the plate umpire, but he did kind of have it, blurted it out, and then he made his indication. So 2 outs as Rosser is called out on strikes. Runners remain at first and second. Now Tempe Perry. Pitcher versus pitcher in this at bat. Perry popped to third her first time up, and she swings and pops it up. Foul territory, and it hits off the screen near the Abilene dugout, and it goes for strike 1. Boy, Gonzalez was charging down from her position at third base. There's not a lot of room between the foul line and the dugouts here, probably about 25, 30 feet. So it's pretty tight. No balls into strike to Tempe Perry here. 2 out and 2 on, and the 1-0 is swung on, hit high in the air to left field, way back, and it is gone for a 3-run home run off the bat of Tempe Perry. It hit the scoreboard, and a 3-run shot for Tempe Perry, her 3rd of the year, and the Lady Cats go up 3-0. Wind aided or not, Tempe got a hold of that one, drills it over the left field wall, again, strikes the scoreboard right around at the 4th inning mark, and the Lady Cats get the 3-spot Jimmy Jack that they were hoping for, their first hit with runners in scoring position, and a big blow to go up 3-0. And you know, she had just missed on the previous pitch on that foul off the screen, but she didn't miss that one. So she helps herself with the 3-run shot. The Ladycats are up 3-0 here on their second hit of the ball game. And that error does come around to score against Abilene. That would have been the roster being called out on strikes would have ended the inning. Now here's Kylie Pollock, and she takes a strike, and it's 0-1. Holds the bat on her right shoulder. Open stance as she stands deep in the batter's box, and the pitch is swung on and fouled off, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. So a 3-run shot for Tempe Perry to give Aledo a 3-0 lead here in the bottom of the second inning here in Graham at Hogan Field. Not hit hard enough so that it was going to knock out the scoreboard, the lights, or anything like that, but it was it was hit pretty darn hard, that's for sure. No balls and 2 strikes to Kylie Pollock, who singled to center field her first time up, and she swings and misses on a pitch low and away from her, and she's out on strikes, and the inning is over. Well, they do say that Pollock is awarded first base as the pitch got away, but now the umpires are huddling here. Pollock was thinking that the ball was not caught cleanly by the catcher Gutierrez. She ran it out. Gutierrez thought she caught it cleanly, and they are saying that Pollock will be awarded first base because the catcher Gutierrez did not complete the play to first base. So that's called a strikeout wild pitch, and the runner reaches first base, so Pollock is on for the second time in this inning. Well, whatever she did, Kylie Pollock sold that really, really well to where the umpires conferred and they made their ruling. So Aledo gets another base runner here with 2 outs in the bottom of the second inning. Now Riley Marks, who was hit by a pitch her first time up back in the first inning. Pitch is taken over, but low for ball 1, 1-0. That's technically a strikeout for Reyes, which is her third. She actually has struck out the side here in this inning, but the inning isn't over. A little bit of an oddity for you on that. The pitch is swung on, hit high in the air toward shallow right field. Now it gets back, and it's caught on the rim of the infield by the second baseman, Pachacano, and the inning is over. But the damage done for Aledo. 3 runs, 1 hit, a costly error, the 3-run shot by Tempe Perry. And we go to the third inning here in Graham. It is Aledo 3 and Abilene nothing. Back for the third inning after this timeout.
They've got the diploma. Now give them something even more valuable: peace of mind. At Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth, Mazda vehicles are built with advanced safety technology to help protect your new driver with every trip. And right now, get 0% APR for 72 months on the Mazda CX-90 plug-in hybrid, a smarter, safer SUV for the road ahead. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Send them safe so they can drive with confidence.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Hey fans, mark your calendars. The 2026 UIL State Softball Championships take place May 28th through the 30th at Red and Charlene McCombs Field on the University of Texas at Austin campus. Schedule, spectator, and ticket information can be found at uiltexas.org/softball. Again, that's uiltexas.org/softball. We start the top of the third inning with Jules Holt, the designated player. She takes a strike, and it's 0-1. 3-0 Aledo here as we play in the top of the third inning. If you're just joining us here on NTX Varsity Sports, 3-run shot by Tempe Perry helping herself. She throws a pitch over the inside corner for strike 2, 0-2. Perry's strikeout of Andrea Starks to close out the second inning was her first of the game. Now ahead in the count at 0-2 as Abilene's bottom third of the order comes to the plate. Pitch is bouncing in away in the far away other batter's box for ball 1, 1-2. Strong winds here in Young County, where everything is subject to at the mercy of these winds. 1-2 pitch is taken low for ball 2, 2-2. Not only did we have to tape everything down, we had to like screw it in and everything else. Essentially. Not enough tape for today, that's for sure. 2 balls and 2 strikes. 2 holds. Perry rocks and brings it in, and the pitch is taken just high for ball 3, 3-2. So Holt has battled back in the count from being down 0-2 to now working at full at 3-2. Holt hitting at .330. She leads this team with 6 home runs, and she has 23 driven in. Payoff pitch coming. Swung on and missed, strike 3. Perry went off speed and had Holt way out in front, and she has back-to-back strikeouts. The first to end the second inning, and now the second to begin the third. And that's out number 1 here in the top of the third inning. That'll bring up Jaslyn Johnston-Burns, the right fielder. Burns hitting just below 300 at .299. No home runs, and she's driven in 9. She is a left-handed batter. Pollock charging down the line from third to see if she might try and drop one down. She walks up toward the pitch, and she takes up for ball 1, 1-0 here. 3-0 Aledo, top of the third inning. Ladycats, on the strength of a 3-run home run, have the early advantage. And that kind of makes up for the opportunity they missed with the bases loaded in the first, for sure. 1-0 pitch coming. She swings and pops it in the air to shallow center field. That's an easy play for overturf, and she picks it off for out number 2. Now the wind just grabbed a hold of that one, and there was not a lot of mustard on that one. So 2 up and 2 down here, and that'll bring up Ava Reyes, the starting pitcher. Reyes for the year having a fantastic season. She's hitting .357, no home runs, and 16 driven in. Right-handed pitcher, right-handed batter, although that's not necessarily the case all the time, but in this case it is. Pitch is bouncing in for ball 1, 1-0. Again, the only base runner for Abilene to this point has been the Alicia Gutierrez leadoff single to start the second inning, but Claire Segal, the courtesy runner, was doubled off at first by Delaney Rosser when she caught a line drive and easily completed the 6-3 double play. 1-0 count to Reyes. Opposite number versus opposite number in this exchange, and the 1-0 is taken away for ball 2, 2-0. Again, some spitting raindrops here, but again, nothing of a threatening variety here. 2-0 pitch from Perry. And that is off the outside corner for ball 3, 3-0. A little barking coming from the Aledo dugout, but Braylee Meyer did gesture to the dugout saying that was off the plate. So 3-0 to Reyes with count leverage here. Perry has to throw a strike, and it is in there for strike 1 over the inside corner, so it is 3-1. Brianna Reed, the leadoff hitter, waits next here in the top of the third inning. Perry has what she wants. Winds, 3-1. And that's in there for strike 2, 3-2. And Reyes was taking all the way for that. See if she could get a bad one and trot on down the first, but now we're working full here. So now the game is on. Full count here from Tempe Perry to Ava Reyes. Long look by Perry, has what she wants, comes to her motion, and the payoff. Swung on and grounded on a hop to short. Rosser has it over to first, and the inning is over. So good job by Tempe Perry. Down in the count at 3-0, battles back and then gets the ground ball to short to end the inning. 1, 2, 3 go the Lady Eagles in their half of the third. Go to the bottom of the third inning. It's Aledo 3 and Abilene nothing.
What's the biggest myth about interscholastic performing arts? That you have to be the most talented or experienced to participate. The truth is, anyone can be a part of their school's performing arts. There are countless opportunities for students to participate, from theater, choir, and band to speech and debate. The bottom line, if you want to perform, there's a place for you.
This message presented by the NFHS and the UIL.
They've got the diploma. Now give them something even more valuable: peace of mind. At Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth, Mazda vehicles are built with advanced safety technology to help protect your new driver with every trip. And right now, get 0% APR for 72 months on the Mazda CX-90 plug-in hybrid, a smarter, safer SUV for the road ahead. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Send them safe so they can drive with confidence.
Kevin Longquist and Brian Torres here at the Hiley Mazda broadcast table. It's 3-0 Aledo here, bottom of the third inning. Glad you are with us here on NTX Varsity Sports. And again, if you haven't heard, the Bearcat baseball team is moving on to the Class 5A state quarterfinals or the Region 1 championship game next week. Bearcats took care of Amarillo this afternoon over at Abilene Christian University, winning that second game by a score of 7-2. So congratulations to Chad Berry's team. Won the opening game last night by a score of 8-1. Kaylee Martin and Brooklyn Toloa and Kennedy Cardenas will be the top three order batters in this order for Aledo in its half of the third inning. Martin stands in there and she takes outside for ball 1-0. Martin was aboard of a fielder's choice. She hit a comebacker to the pitcher Reyes, but then just beat the throw to first base on what they were trying to do was a 1-2-3 double play, but she was able to leg it out and get a fielder's choice out of it. She swings and hits it high in the air to center field. Drifting back on it was Reed. Now she comes in and makes the catch. Again, anything hit high in the air to center field and to right is going to die out there because of that wind that is in excess of 25 miles an hour, probably gusting over 30 is the way I would guess it tonight or this afternoon. But anything hit to left and left center, it's going to go. Now Brooklyn Toloa, who flied to right her first time up. That was back in the first inning. She takes inside for ball 1-0 here. 3-0 Aledo. Again, all the other regional championship games, second games of their series are starting tonight. So this is the only one going of all the regional championship games. Pitch is taken in there for a strike, 1-1. So game 2 of the Region 2 series between Melissa and Walnut Grove is at 6 o'clock over at Melissa. Melissa won the first game 14-2 yesterday. Regions 3 over at LaPorte is a 6:30 start. LaPorte taking on Barbers Hill, and LaPorte won the first one yesterday 3-1. Pitch is taken very high for ball 2-1. And then the Region 4 matchup between Leander and Smithson Valley is a 7 o'clock start over at Dripping Springs. Leander won the opener run roll by a score of 11-1. Again, the state semifinals are not being played in Austin, only the state finals are. Pitch is swung and blooped over the head at third base, and it'll fall fair. Bouncing into foul territory. On her run to second base is Toloa. Throw will come into the cutoff man, and it's an easy one-out double for Brooklyn Toloa. And so the Lady Cats with another runner in scoring position on that one-out double by Brooklyn Toloa. Third hit of the day for the Lady Cats. And that'll bring up Kennedy Cardenas, who got all of this started in the second inning when she reached on that throwing error. Again, a tough throwing error by Estrada, the third baseman. A chance to drive in a run as Toloa is off the bag at second base, and the pitch is taken inside for ball 1-0. And we should point out with all these other regional final matchups, those are all best of 3 series. This is the only one that's not. Whoever wins is moving on. Pitch is swung on and hit down the right field line, drifting away from the right fielder, Johnston Burns, and it will go foul. And it's a ball and a strike. We have probably, if it wasn't for the wind, I would be totally in heaven with this broadcasting position. We could be inside, but there's really not a lot of room in the press box to do that. So here, but we're okay out here. Again, the wind could cooperate just for a bit. Pitch is swung on and lined into left field. That's a base hit. Here's Toloa rounding the bag at third. She'll stay there at third. And on with the fourth base hit for Aledo is Kennedy Cardenas. She's on for the second time with a solid single to left. And the Ladycats have runners at first and third with one out for Kellen Overturf. Overturf struck out her first time up back in the second inning. Aledo trying to add some tack-on runs here. Overturf, again, the only left-handed hitter here in this lineup for Heather Myers. Now we got time called. Umpire wanted to look at something over in the Aledo dugout, I suppose. He looked that way, at least. All right, here we go, as Reyes will stand back on the mound. Has what she wants and comes in, showing bunt, and then pulling the bat back, but it's a called strike on Overturf, so it's 0-1. Taloa down the line at third. She moved there, following her leadoff double. She moved to third on Cardenas' solid single to left. Cardenas is at first. Long look by Overturf to Myers to see what Myers has cooked up on what she wants here with runners at the corners. Charging down the line at third is Gonzalez. She's even with the bag, and the pitch is swung on and hit foul off to the left out of play. You can see what Overturf was doing there as the count goes to 0-2. Overturf was trying to just push that ball to the left side, see if she could flare that into left field for a base hit, or at least try and get it in for a scoring fly ball, but a little bit late on that. So no balls and 2 strikes to Overturf here. 3-0 Aledo, trying to add to this lead here in the bottom of the third inning. Reyes stands back on the mound wearing that mask, and the 2-strike pitch to Overturf is very high from ball 1, 1 and 2. By the way, we mentioned that the foul territory between the foul lines and the dugouts is very tight. Same thing behind the dish. So if anything was to go to the backstop, it's not a guarantee that the runner from third would break. Now the runner from first could break and probably go to second, but down the line from third, probably not. Pitch is bouncing in, and it gets away. Now, as soon as I say that, here comes to score is Taloa. Except when the wild pitch comes in, hits the catcher in the leg, and it bounces to the right. That's how the run is scored there on that wild pitch. Aledo goes up 4-0. I'm going to excuse myself because I'm calling straight wild pitches back to the backstop, and on one that squirted away like that one did, easy for Taloa to score on that, and then down to second goes Cardenas. I knew that was going to happen too. As soon as you talk about that, the opposite absolutely, that's the broadcaster's curse. But not so much a curse for Aledo, now up 4-0, another runner in scoring position, and the pitch is taken for a called strike 3, and Overturf is out on strikes. Second out of the inning, and the second time that she's been out on strikes this afternoon. Now the catcher, Braylee Meyer, who probably has the at-bat in this game where she reached base on a walk. She really worked Reyes over on that and finally drew a walk, and then 2 batters later, the 3-run home run by Tempe Perry. She takes on the outside corner for strike 1, 0-1. So 4-0 Aledo here in the second inning. Taloa with a 1-out double, moved to third on their Cardenas base hit to left, and then Taloa scored on the wild pitch. 4 hits for the Ladycats in this game. Swings and doesn't get it, does Meyer, and it's no balls and 2 strikes. They have had traffic, at least 2 runners on in every inning here. Had, of course, the bases loaded in the first, 2 runners on before the 3-run shot in the second, and now 2 runners aboard on base in this inning before Taloa scored. Pitches a check swing comebacker. Grabbed by Reyes, she throws high, but it's gloved easily by Roca, and the inning is over. So a comebacker 1-3 on the put-up, but the Ladycats do get a run thanks to a double and a wild pitch, and they leave a runner at second base. We go to the 4th. New score, Aledo 4 and Abilene 0.
What's the biggest myth about interscholastic performing arts? That you have to be the most talented or experienced to participate. The truth is, anyone can be a part of their school's performing arts. There are countless opportunities for students to participate, from theater, choir, and band to speech and debate. The bottom line, if you want to perform, there's a place for you.
This message presented by the NFHS and the UIL.
They've got the diploma. Now give them something even more valuable: peace of mind. At Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth, Mazda vehicles are built with advanced safety technology to help protect your new driver with every trip. And right now, get 0% APR for 72 months on the Mazda CX-90 plug-in hybrid, a smarter, safer SUV for the road ahead. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Send them safe so they can drive with confidence.
Kevin Longquist and Brian Torres here at the Hiley Mazda broadcast table, where Aledo has now a 4-0 lead here as we play the top of the fourth inning at Hogan Field in Graham, the county seat of Young County here. And again, this baseball and softball complex not on the Graham High School grounds. It's about 5-10 minute drive away from the Graham High School campus. Top of the order for Abilene here in the top of the fourth inning. Brianna Reed, the center fielder, then Mariah Estrada, the shortstop, and KK Gonzalez, the third baseman. Everyone charging in from third from Pollock. Showing bunt and leaving the bunt out there was Reed, and it's a called strike, as she did offer it. I think it was a strike in there either way. And it's 0-1. Reed hit a comebacker her first time up. Pollock is basically like 5 feet away from her, charging down the line from third. She checks her swing. They appeal the first. No swing, says the third base umpire. 3 umpires in this crew, and of course, when there's nobody on base, your umpires are each down the lines at first and third to complement the home plate umpire. 1 ball and 1 strike here to Brianna Reed. Top of the fourth inning. Perry's pitch, he shows bunt, but there's Pollock waiting for it. Fires to first, and Taloa gloves it for the out. 1 down. So, 5-3 on that put-out. That was something that head coach Heather Myers was talking about with Reed. She is a very fast runner, loves the bunt game, and so Pollock was charging in. Basically, she probably could have read all of the letters on her uniform without any kind of a holding her hand over her eye. That's how close she was. Could have shaken hands with her. So 1 down here, the top of the fourth inning for Abilene. Here's Mariah Estrada, the shortstop. She grounded to short her first time up. Easy play for Delaney Roster on that. First pitch is in there for a strike, and it's 0-1. By the way, we should tell you with the Bearcat baseball team sweeping Amarillo, they will face El Paso Americas, which wound up sweeping Birdville earlier this week. Pitch is swung on a line down the left field line, but under it to make the catch in foul territory is Cardenas. As she tracked that ball, I thought that ball was going to carry over the wall down the left field line, but it hung up long enough for Cardenas to run that thing down and make the catch in foul territory. And there are 2 outs here in the fourth inning. That'll bring up KK Gonzalez, who lined to Collie Pollock at third her first time up. She takes skipping in for ball 1, 1-0 here. 2 outs, top of the fourth inning, a 4-0 lead for the Ladycats. But so for the Bearcat baseball team, they're probably going to be playing further than where they played this week. They're probably going to be playing out in Midland, taking on El Paso Americas. That's the early guess on my part. Pitch is swung and popped up, playable. Tempe Perry's there. She makes the catch, and the inning is over. And 1-2-3 goes Abilene, and it's half of the fourth inning. We go to the bottom of the fourth inning. It is Aledo 4 and Abilene nothing.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Bottom of the fourth here at Hogan Field in Graham, as Aledo leads this Class 5A Division I Region I championship game by a score of 4-0. Again, this is a single game playoff, so the winner moves on to the state semifinals next week. And again, we want to remind you that the Aledo Coaches Show podcast will be this coming Monday over at Parker County Brewing Company, where we will have a 3-segment podcast. We'll be talking baseball with Chad Berry and a couple of players, softball with Heather Myers and a couple of players, and we'll also have head football coach Robbie Jones talking about the just completed spring football season. Happy that you're with us here. And as always, all Aledo playoff softball and baseball is brought to you by Haile Mazda, who also sponsors the podcast. Bottom of the fourth inning, top of the order for the Ladycats, and a strike is taken by Delaney Rosser. Her third plate appearance of this game. She's 0 for 1. She was hit by a pitch in the first inning and then was called out on strikes back in the second inning. Aledo with 3 runs in the second inning, 1 run in the third. Rosser takes over the inside half of the plate, but too far inside, and it's a ball and a strike. So top 3 of this order for the Ladycats: Rosser, Perry, and Pollock here. Again, Aledo with a lot of traffic on the base paths in its first 3 swings of the bat. Pitch gets Rosser once again. So the second time Rosser has been hit by a pitch, and she just stood there and said, yeah, I'll go to first base. So the second time Delaney Rosser has been hit by a pitch. And so that brings up Tempe Perry, who has the big blow in this game. The 3-run shot off the scoreboard in left field back in the second inning, which at the time gave Aledo a 3-0 lead. Aledo trying to build on what is already a 4-run advantage here in the bottom of the fourth inning. Happy that you're with us here on ntxvarsitysports.com. And we know that we're going to be broadcasting next week with the baseball team. We'd like to do it with both the baseball and the softball teams if softball can take care of business here this afternoon. First pitch to Perry is way outside for ball 1, 1-0. The pitch is low for ball 2, 2-0. Rosser on base for the second time. 3 different Aledo batters have been, I should say 2 different batters for Aledo have been hit by pitches, 2 twice. Pitch is taken very high for ball 3, 3-0. And of course, Reyes being very careful here with Perry, who stung her in their previous meeting. 3 balls and no strikes. Rosser off at first. And the pitch is taken for a strike, and it's 3-1, and Perry was taking all the way on that. By the way, with that home run back in the second inning for Perry, Aledo now with 49 long balls this year. Ball 3 and strike 1 to Tempe Perry. Long delay between pitches there by Ava Reyes, and she throws 3-1, and she takes outside for ball 4. And the first 2 batters are on base for the Ladycats here in the bottom of the fourth inning. That'll bring up Kylie Pollock, who's also been aboard twice. One from the conventional variety, a base hit to center field, and then second where she lobbied and won on a strikeout in which the catcher, Gutierrez, did not complete the play at first base, thinking that she had caught it, but it skipped in there, so she got first base. Bunt attempt, and it's over the head of the pitcher, Reyes, and Pollock is going to reach on what is going to be a bunt single. Well, all Kylie Pollock was trying to do was advance the runners over, and it was actually a bad bunt because it was popped up, but because Reyes had committed herself so far inside the plate, inside the pitcher's mound in the circle, it went over her head into no man's land, so that means everybody moves up 90 feet, or actually 60 feet in this case. So the base is loaded, nobody out for Riley Marks, who was the other player who was hit by a pitch. The Ladycats now with their 5th hit on that bunt single. Marks a chance to do some damage here with the bases loaded, nobody out here in the bottom of the fourth inning, a 4-0 lead for the Ladycats. I think you can call that the best bunt hit you'll ever see. Pitch is taken outside for ball 2, 2-0. Now, Reyes is behind here. There's no place to put Marks. It's kind of like one of those things in basketball where the coach yells at a player, says, no, 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 and then the shot goes in, which is considered an ill-advised shot, goes in, and then you go, nice shot. 2-0 to Marks, who has count leverage here. Pitch is swung on in line into right field, base hit. One run is home. Rosser is in. On the way home is Perry. She will make it. That gets away. Here comes the third runner. That's Pollock. She will score without a throw. Into second base with a double is Riley Marks. She clears them off, and the Ladycats now have a 7-0 lead on the double by Riley Marks. Well, Riley Marks gets them all in. With that double to right center, there was no hesitation from Kylie Pollock at first base when that ball got to the alley. And so a 3-run double for Riley Marks, the second 3-run base hit for the Ladycats in this game. They're up now 7-0. Now you can start thinking, can you run roll them? You need only 10 after 5 innings to do it. Pitch is taken for a ball, or actually a delayed strike call to Kaylee Martin, the right fielder. She's 0 for 2 this afternoon. She grounded into that fielder's choice back in the first inning when the Ladycats had the bases loaded. Then she flied to center. Pitch is swung on a line foul down the left field line and out of play. Marks on the year with her 3 RBIs, now with 38. Still one behind Kylie Pollock, who has 39. And of course, the other 3 runs driven in by Tempe Perry. She now has 31 RBIs on the year. 7-0 lead for the Ladycats. Here in the bottom of the 4th inning. Oh, 2 pitch coming on the way is bouncing in for ball 1. 1-2. Yes, so there's still nobody out in this inning. Another runner in scoring position, so definitely a chance for Aledo to try and get some more runs in this inning if it can do that. And again, in high school softball, if it's 10 runs after 5 innings or 4.5, the check swing low on a pitch, they will appeal to first. No swing, says the first base umpire, who is actually positioned between first and second base. He's on the rim of the outfield grass, but in this case, if Aledo could get to 10 runs in this inning and then retire the side in the 5th, then the game would be over. Ladycats still have an opportunity to do that in the bottom of the 5th inning if they are not successful doing that. But that's for some more work to do. 2-2 pitch coming is swung on and fouled back by Martin. And the count holds at 2 balls and 2 strikes. Riley Marks with the 3-run double. She stands at second base. She just split that alley. And it was pretty much a merry-go-round for the Ladycats. Pink bat being held by Kaylee Martin. Waits. Reyes' 2-2 pitch, and it's swung on in line to short, and it's off the glove of the shortstop Estrada for another base hit. Solid single to left field. Boy, Estrada had a play on it, but she jumped a little bit too early. Over third is Riley Marks, and that'll bring up Brooklyn Taloa, who doubled and scored her last time up. Seven base hits for the Ladycats in this game. One big swing of the bat can make it a 10-run cushion for the Ladycats here. And now time called as Abilene head coach Jenna Aguirre comes out to have a meeting with her team. Again, the first ever appearance for Abilene High School in the state quarterfinals for a Region 1 championship game after that 3-game upset of Richland last week. They lost the first game to Richland and then came back to win the next 2, but in this situation, down 7-0 here. Now you got to start thinking about outs because they only have, at the maximum, 9 outs to play with. And if it becomes a 10-run lead, then only 3 outs to play with. A ball and no strikes to Taloa with the conference is over for both Abilene and Aledo here. Taloa waits in the pitch. It's swung on, hit high in the air to center field. Reed comes in, makes a basket catch. Tagging and coming into third and scoring is Marks. And down to second base as the throw gets past the catcher, Gutierrez to the backstop, is Martin. So a scoring fly ball from Brooklyn Taloa. Gets the 8th run in the afternoon for the Lady Cats. That's only the first out of this inning. And Aledo has its 4th run of this inning. It now leads by a score of 8-0. Good fundamental softball there by the Lady Cats as they are now up 8-0. Now Kennedy Cardenas, who's been on board twice, reached on an error in that 3-run second inning and then singled back in the 3rd inning. Again, lots of traffic here for the Lady Cats in the 1st inning. Pitches a strike and it's 0-1. Reyes all the way here for Abilene. And the pitch is swung and looped on the ground to short, gloved by Estrada. She'll throw to first. It's in time for the out. Taking third on the play is Martin. And that's the 2nd out of the inning here. So Martin moves over to third on what we would call a productive out. And that'll bring up Kellen Overturf, who's been a strikeout victim her first 2 times up. 8-0 Bearcats, Lady Cats here. 3-run double by Riley Marks is the big hit in this inning. And then a sacrifice fly by Brooklyn Taloa. Pitch is taken for a strike to Overturf, and it's 0-1. Now the Lady Cats have driven in 7 of their 8 runs, one of them via the wild pitch to the plate. Broadcaster's curse on that. 1 strike to Overturf. Martin down the line at third. She lines it up in the center field for a base hit, and there's run number 9 for the Lady Cats. So Kellen Overturf, who had a tough first 2 plate appearances, gets a measure of revenge with a solid single into center field. Martin trots home from third, and the Lady Cats lead by a score of 9-0 now. And now you can smell that chance to try and close it out here. Now Braylee Meyer's turn. Meyer 0 for 1. She walked and scored in the 2nd and then hit a comebacker her last time up. One big blow can give Aledo the margin that it needs to play for the run rule. 9-0 Lady Cats lead. The pitch is swung on and missed, and that's exactly what Meyer was trying to do. She let it loose on that swing. And with Meyer coming to the plate here, the Lady Cats have batted around. All 9 have taken their turn here in the 4th inning. Lady Cats now with 8 hits in this ball game. 4 in this inning. The pitch is swung on and hit foul off to the right, and it'll go behind the Aledo dugout, and it's quickly no balls and 2 strikes. And of course, the beneficiary all of this is Tempe Perry. She has been on her game this afternoon, only allowing 1 base hit, and that base runner was erased. So she's faced the minimum through 4. No balls and 2 strikes to Braylee Meyer. Ava Reyes having a tough outing this afternoon, and she throws away for ball 1, 1-2. Overturf off the bag at first. Meyer sets up at 1-2 in the batter's box, and the pitch swung on and lined in the left center field. That's going to get down for a base hit. Hitting the bag at second base, and on her way to third is Overturf. Into second base goes Meyer. She takes second on the throw to third. The Lady Cats have their 9th hit. They have runners at second and third. 2 outs here, and now Delaney Rosser's turn, as she is now the 10th batter to come to the plate in this game, or in this inning rather. And we'll probably see a courtesy runner for Meyer at second base. For Meyer, her first base hit of the afternoon. And Maddie Martinick will run for Meyer at second base. So Delaney Rosser, a chance to make this a double-digit game for the Lady Cats. She's got runners at second and third. Her fourth plate appearance. Tip of the spear of this Lady Cat offense has been hit twice. Scored earlier in this inning thanks to that 3-run double by Riley Marks. Pitch is taken outside and low for ball 1-0. Rosser officially 0 for 1. She was called out on strikes back in the second inning. Aledo threatening to make this a run rule game. Up 9-0. That 10th run over at third base in the person of Kellen Overturf. At second base is Maddie Martinick. The pitch is swung on a line into left field, and there's that 10th run. Scoring from third is Kellen Overturf. Here comes the 11th run, and that's Martinick. And then going down to second base with a 2-run single is Delaney Rosser, and the run rule now is in effect for the Lady Cats. They lead 11-0. For Rosser, RBIs 28 and 29. She's at second base on the throw down to when the throw came to third. And Tempe Perry with another chance to help herself. 11th batter to come to the plate in this big inning for the Lady Cats, in which they have scored 7 runs in this inning to take an 11-0 lead. Pitch is taken for a ball, 1-0. The pitch taken high for a ball, 2-0. And if you're wondering for Tempe Perry when she pitches to Abilene in the 5th inning, they will have their 4, 5, and 6 hitters coming into the plate. Alicia Gutierrez, Bella Roca, and Andrea Starks, 4, 5, and 6. The pitch swung on a hit to the right side and through into right center field, the base hit. Around the bag at third and heading home is Rosser. On her way to second base with a 2-out double is Tempe Perry, and that lead is now 12-0 for Aledo. Base hits aplenty here for the Lady Cats. They have 7 base hits in this inning. $11 hits for the game for the Lady Cats. Reyes is still out there, and now we'll have a courtesy runner as Perry will depart. Caroline Stubbs will run for her, and Kylie Pollock will have her second plate appearance in this inning. She singled and scored her last time up. Remember, the Lady Cats had scored 3 runs without having an out recorded, and then their first out was a scoring fly ball, and it's been the floodgates ever since. 12 runs, 11 hits, and no errors for the Lady Cats. No runs, 1 hit, and 1 error for Abilene. Pitch is taken for a ball, 1-0. And the 1-0 pitch is taken off the outside corner for ball 2, 2-0. A good gathering by both the Abilene and Aledo fans, and of course the folks in the orange and black, very in a festive mood. The folks over in the black and gold, not so much. It's been a quiet showing for them so far. Not much to cheer about. Pitch is taken for a strike, 2-1. They really haven't had much of an opportunity to get anything going offensively either, with only 1 base runner, which was quickly erased a couple pitches later. Pitch is swung on, line into left field, a base hit. Stubbs around third. She is on her way home. The throw to the plate will be late, and then making the play, hitting the bag at first, and then taking second on the throw is Pollock. And it now has just completely gotten out of hand. It is Aledo 13-0 here on that RBI single for Kylie Pollock. She finally reaches the 40 RBI mark for her. And it is now 13-0 as the Lady Cats collect their 12th hit of the game. 9 runs in this inning, with Riley Marks coming up. 13th batter to come to the plate in this inning. And there will be a pitching change as Ava Reyes' season is over, at least on the mound. She will be replaced by the other pitcher who was at third base. KK Gonzalez. It was just a tough afternoon for Ava Reyes. The Ladycats just kind of waited her out. You would have thought after the first inning, when they gave up the runs in the first inning, where they had the bases loaded with 2 outs, or 1 out rather, in the first inning, and they couldn't score, was it an opportunity loss? But not so much when Perry hit that 3-run home run that really kind of, helped Aledo relax in this game. And from there, the boomsticks have been going here for the Ladycats with 12 base hits. They have 9 in this inning. For Gonzalez this year, she's 4-4 with a record with an ERA of 2.90. She has struck out 63 and walked 22. So her first batter is Riley Marks. Marks had the big blow earlier in this inning with the 3-run double. And the right-hander's pitch is taken outside for ball 1, 1-0. 13-0, Aledo leads, and now all they're asking for Tempe Perry to do is get 3 outs and allow no more than 3 runs in the top half of the 5th inning at the very least, but another runner in scoring position because the Ladycats aren't done yet, so at least we're looking at give up no more than 3 if this rally stops with this 9-run 4th inning. Lots of Ladycats all over the base pass this afternoon as they are marching toward their 3rd consecutive appearance in the state semifinals. Ground ball to short, this should get the inning over with, and it is. 6-3 on the putout, but the Ladycats do heavy damage. 9 runs. A big 3-run double from Riley Marks started it. They leave a runner at second base, and we go to the 5th. Possible last ups time here for the Lady Eagles. Tempe Perry has 3 outs to send everyone over to the state semifinals. Score, Aledo 13 and Abilene nothing. You're listening to Aledo Ladycats softball on ntxvarsitysports.com.
They've got the diploma. Now give them something even more valuable: peace of mind. At Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth, Mazda vehicles are built with advanced safety technology to help protect your new driver with every trip. And right now, get 0% APR for 72 months on the Mazda CX-90 plug-in hybrid, a smarter, safer SUV for the road ahead. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Send them safe so they can drive with confidence.
Timeout.
All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Kevin Longquist back here at the Hiley Mazda broadcast table. Tempe Perry 3 outs away from sending Aledo to the state semifinals with a 13-0 lead for Abilene here in the top of the 5th inning. 4, 5, and 6. Alicia Gutierrez, the catcher. Bella Roca, the first baseman. And Andrea Starks, the left fielder. Gutierrez has the only base hit in this game. She lined a single into center field, but then a double play hit by Bella Roca on a 6-3 variety immediately wiped off the courtesy runner, and that's been it for the Abilene offense here. There was a little bit of a delay for getting this inning started as Braylee Meyer, the catcher, had to fix something with her equipment. Now she's ready to go, and here is Gutierrez. She shows bunt. Perry's first pitch is swung on and popped up. Third baseman Pollock has it, and there's out number 1. So first pitch swinging is Gutierrez. She pops to third, and we're 2 outs away. Aledo has won 1, 2, 3 games in these playoffs via the run rule, trying to make it 4. Now Roca, she takes over the inside corner, but a little bit too inside, and it's ball 1, 1-0. Roca was the one who hit into that double play. Ball back in the second inning. Lined it to Rosser, and then Rosser threw on to Toloa at first base to complete the double play. Off-speed pitch misses for ball 2, 2-0. 13-0, Aledo leads this game in this championship of Region 1 in Class 5A Division 1. Perry has what she wants. 2-0 pitch. And that is taken low for ball 3, 3-0. And Perry does her little walk behind the pitching circle, but quickly gets back to the bench. She wants to work quickly here and see if she can get this thing moving here. But she's down in the count at 3-0. She throws 3-0, and the pitch is taken in there for a strike, 3-1. And Roca is just seeing if she can get on base at any point here. Obviously, Abilene needs a ton of base runners here to try and avoid the 10-run rule in this game. 3-1 count from Perry to Roca. In the delivery, swung on and grounded in the hole at short, backhanded by Rosser. Long throw off her back foot is not in time, and that's the second base hit for Abilene. Great play by Rosser. It was slowly hit. She went in the hole behind Pollock, tried to get as much as she could on that throw to Toloa, but Roca easily beat that out. So the second base hit for the Lady Eagles, and that'll bring up Andrea Starks, who struck out her first time up. The wind in the pitch is swung on and missed, and it's 0-1. Stark struck out her first time up, and really, Perry has not had the big strikeout pitch working. She's only struck out 2 in this game. Double play ball could end it. She shows bunt. Perry winds and brings it in. She swings and grounds it to third. Grabbing it is Pollock. She'll throw from her knees onto first for the second out. Taking second is Roca, but a heck of a play there by Kylie Pollock to get the out recorded, and now the Lady Cats are 1 out away from going to the state semifinals. Now Jules Holt, the designated player, she was a strikeout victim her first time up. 13-0, the Lady Cats lead this game, top of the 5th inning. And I think we're gonna have a pinch hitter. Yes, we are. We're gonna have Leilani Valero instead of Holt batting here. So Valero into this lineup here for Abilene. Runner at second base, 2 out for Abilene, top of the 5th inning, and they need a bunch of base runners and a bunch of runs to even get a look at this game, down by 13. Valero for the year, not much of a batting average at .071 and only 2 RBIs, so maybe this is kind of a concession thing. She's a senior, probably doesn't get a lot of playing time, so maybe giving her one more at bat. Pitch is taken inside for ball 2, 2-0. Valero, in fact, she only has 17 at bats this year. So now time called as Heather Myers wants to have a discussion with Tempe Perry and the entire infield as she brings everybody in to maybe discuss this. Excitement going, the jitters, everyone kind of getting a little bit overexcited perhaps in some respects. So Heather Myers just wanted to get out there, give some instructions about just locking in and trying to get this thing finished off if they possibly can do that. Focus on the task at hand against a senior who hasn't had a lot of playing time. 13-0, the Lady Cats lead. Perry winds in the 2-0 pitch. Swung on and foul back to the screen, and it's 2 balls and a strike. Lady Cats looking for their 29th win of the season. They are 5-1 in the playoffs. 2-1 pitch on the way. Swung on a miss. He went off speed with Valero, and now it's 2 balls and 2 strikes. 1 strike away. 2-2 to Leilani Valero. Perry winds, and the pitch is just missing for ball 3, 3-2. She wanted it, Braylee Meyer wanted it, the entire Aledo dugout wanted it, and it's a full count. Runner at second base is Bella Roca. Showing bunt is Valero at 3-2. Perry winds and brings it in, and it is inside and high for ball 4. So we're not done yet, as the pinch hitter draws the 2-out walk. So runners at first and second, 2 out. That'll bring up Jaslyn Johnston Burns, who popped to Meyer her first time up. Left-handed hitter. Infield plane in. She swings and pops it up. This should do it. Charging in is the center fielder. Over turf, and she makes the catch, and the inning is over, and the Lady Cats are moving on to the state semifinals. For Abilene in its half of the 5th inning, no runs, 1 hit, a walk, 2 left, and your final score here in Graham. In run rule fashion, the Aledo Ladycats win this game over Abilene by a score of 13-0. Ladycats improve their record out of 29-10. They move on to next week's state semifinals to either play Melissa or Prosper Walnut Grove. Stick around, we'll take a 1-minute timeout, and when we come back, we'll have our post-game show for you. We'll also have head coach Heather Myers and one of her players probably get to talk to Tempe Perry, the winning pitcher in this game, who was absolutely brilliant here. Final score once again, Aledo 13-0 over Abilene. Lady Cats are moving on to the state semifinals for the 3rd consecutive year. Back after this timeout.
They've got the diploma. Now give them something even more valuable: peace of mind. At Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth, Mazda vehicles are built with advanced safety technology to help protect your new driver with every trip. And right now, get 0% APR for 72 months on the Mazda CX-90 plug-in hybrid, a smarter, safer SUV for the road ahead. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Send them safe so they can drive with confidence.
Timeout. All right. Remember, we're a team that plays together. Listen, the winning will take care of itself. We just have to get everyone involved.
In interscholastic sports, we celebrate what makes every one of us unique. And in the pursuit of a common goal, everyone in the huddle, in the bleachers, and in the community comes together. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
Kevin Lonnquist back here at the Hiley Mazda broadcast table. My producer, engineer Brian Torres will be running down to the field to get head coach Heather Myers, and I hope will be Tempe Perry following today's Class 5A Division I Region I championship game victory for the Lady Cats, 13-0, as they move on to the state semifinals for the 3rd consecutive time. And Aledo going to the state semifinals for the 8th time in program history. While we have a few moments, let's tell you how the Lady Cats did this. And well, first of all, let's tell you about how Tempe Perry, how brilliant she was today. Went the distance in 5 innings, gave up 2 base hits. She walked 1 and struck out 2. So brilliant performance by Tempe Perry to get her 14th win of the season. Lowers that ERA probably below 2.00. She was at 2.12 coming into this game, but she was absolutely brilliant today. And really only faced 3 base runners. She had a base runner in the 2nd inning. That was erased on a double play. And then she gave up the other 2 runners in the 5th inning on a 1-out single and then a 2-out walk, but then a pop out to the center fielder over turf to end the game. And that was pretty much it for Abilene. So lots to talk about as far as the Aledo offense is concerned. Let's talk about how this all went down as we're waiting for Heather Myers and probably Tempe Perry here to come up and talk to us, because it's a little bit of a walk here from the dugout to the broadcast position here at the press box up here at Hogan Field. But the Lady Cats had the bases loaded with 1 out in the 1st inning. They couldn't score as Kaylee Martin hit into a fielder's choice where the lead runner was cut down at the plate. That was Delaney Rosser. And then Brooklyn Chaloa flight out to right to end the inning, and that was remaining scoreless after the 1st inning. And it kind of looked that way that might happen again here in the bottom of the 2nd inning for Aledo. Kennedy Cardenas reached on a tough error by the shortstop, Estrada. She threw wide of the bag at first. The first baseman, Roca, was trying to hang on to the throw, but came off the bag and then it went off her glove for an error. And then on a 1 out later, Braylee Meyer worked a walk, which I think was kind of the pivotal at bat in this game. Delaney Rosser was called out on strikes, but then Tempe Perry drilled a 3-run home run off the scoreboard in left field here at Hogan Field to give the Lady Cats a 3-run lead. Apologize for the wind here blowing into my mic, but I'll try and get a little bit closer. Then the Lady Cats added a run in the 4th inning, a 1-out double by Brooklyn Taloa. Then she moved to third on Kennedy Cardenas' single, and then she later scored on a wild pitch to make it 4-0. So that's where we stood going to the fourth. We stood going to the 4th inning, and that's when the bats unloaded for the Lady Cats here as they sent 13 batters to the plate. Delaney Rosser was hit by a pitch to start the inning. Tempe Perry went to second base, and then Kylie Pollock reached on a single to load the bases. And then they were cleared when Riley Marks hit a 3-run double to make it 7-0. Then Kaylee Martin hit a single that advanced Marks to third. Brooklyn Taloa made the first out of the inning, but it was a productive out. It was a scoring fly ball to make it an 8-0 score in that time. Then there were RBIs from Kellen Overturf. Bradley Meyer had a single that drove in a run. Delaney Rosser had an RBI single. She went to second on the throw. Tempe Perry had an RBI double, and then the final run was driven in by Kylie Pollock on an RBI single, and that's how Aledo got its 13 runs in this ballgame. 13 runs, 12 hits, no errors for the Lady Cats, no runs and 2 errors and only 1 error for Abilene in this ballgame. Again, they win this game convincingly by a score of 13-0 as we're waiting for head coach Heather Myers. And again, Tempe Perry here. Again, they've got to make the long walk here. We're coming to you from the Hiley Mazda broadcast table here. We'll take a minute break here. We'll come back here and just kind of buy some time as we'll wait for these players, for these folks to come join us here. Lady Cats moving on to the state semifinals. Kind of an undramatic, kind of an anticlimactic finish, if you will, where they were won so convincingly, but they'll take it either way. And the good news is that the baseball team is going to be moving on to the state quarterfinals next week, taking on El Paso Americas. More about that in just a few moments. Again, 13-0. Aledo wins and is moving on to the state semifinals next week. Back after this timeout.
They've got the diploma. Now give them something even more valuable: peace of mind. At Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth, Mazda vehicles are built with advanced safety technology to help protect your new driver with every trip. And right now, get 0% APR for 72 months on the Mazda CX-90 plug-in hybrid, a smarter, safer SUV for the road ahead. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Send them safe so they can drive with confidence.
Why are interscholastic sports called the last classroom of the day? Because they teach students important life lessons like teamwork, accountability, and perseverance. School sports are so much more than a game. They're about developing the whole person. That's why they're an essential part of every student's education.
Encourage your student to participate in the last classroom of the day. Interscholastic sports in Texas. This message presented by the UIL and the Texas High School Athletic Directors Association.
What's the biggest myth about interscholastic performing arts? That you have to be the most talented or experienced to participate. The truth is, anyone can be a part of their school's performing arts. There are countless opportunities for students to participate, from theater, choir, and band to speech and debate. The bottom line, if you want to perform, there's a place for you.
This message presented by the NFHS and the UIL.
They've got the diploma. Now give them something even more valuable: peace of mind. At Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth, Mazda vehicles are built with advanced safety technology to help protect your new driver with every trip. And right now, get 0% APR for 72 months on the Mazda CX-90 plug-in hybrid, a smarter, safer SUV for the road ahead. Hiley Mazda of Fort Worth. Send them safe so they can drive with confidence.
Well, I think the big winner of today's regional championship game was the wind gusting out of the west at about 30 miles an hour. Kevin Longquist here for our postgame show here at Hogan Field in Graham, following Aledo's Class 5A Division I Region I state championship victory over Abilene. The Ladycats move to 29-10 now. Pleased to be joined by winning pitcher Tempe Perry. I'm out of breath like you are, because I think the most work that you had today was running up the stairs just to get up here for this. Congratulations to you. Congratulations to this program and getting back to the state semifinals. You know what? You guys have handled this. You guys have handled these one-game playoffs over the last few years so well. Just talk about the mindset when you come into it, because it's one thing to maybe play a one-game playoff and maybe the bi-district round or the area round, but this has a little bit more connotations to it because of what's at stake. What was the mindset leading up to this one-game playoff against Abilene, Tempe?
You know, we had to come out strong in the first inning. We weren't going to let anyone get by us in the first inning. We had home advantage, so we're just going to go out there, and it was one pitch at a time, and we were ready by the first pitch, especially with the one game instead of a 3-game. We have to be ready within the first game. I mean, first inning, we came out, got 3 outs, 3 batters, and then we come out and get bases loaded in the first inning. I think we just had to take it one pitch at a time, and yeah, we had to get the job done in one game, and that's a lot of pressure, but you know, pressures are a privilege, and we took advantage of that time.
Yeah, and for you, you help yourself with a 3-run bomb off the scoreboard there, and you had just missed that pitch in the previous. I felt like the one that you had just missed that you fell off, I felt like you were very close on. Just take us through what you saw in that first one that you fouled to the one that you knocked out of the park.
So we talked about with the one game, you have to make adjustments within the pitch. You can't just get through at bat. So I knew going in my second at bat, I need to get more on top of the ball, especially with the wind blowing out to left field. I got a little help there, but you know, just staying on top of the ball. And I knew she was going to throw that same pitch again because I missed it, but I wasn't going to let her beat me again. So just, yeah, I felt all my teammates in that at bat, so it was really awesome.
Okay, and then for you guys, obviously, this is a team offensively that when it kind of smells blood, it really wants to go after it.
Hungry.
Yeah, exactly. It's one of those things, you know, 4th inning comes along where you go, first 3 batters reach base, and then Riley with the big 3-run shot, 3-run double that clears the bases. That takes it to a 7-run lead. What's kind of the mentality on this team in terms of just, okay, we can see that 10-run, that run rule situation in front of us. Just take us through what you're, after that big hit there that cleared them off.
So we're just thinking we got to keep pushing. We can't let off here. Like 7 runs could go away real quick. They could fight back. I mean, they had fight throughout the game. It didn't feel like a 7-0 ball game. It felt like a 1-1 ball game the whole game. They put lots of pressure on us, but you know, we just had to keep our foot on the gas and not let up on them. We just had to keep pushing, and I think that's what we talked about with 2 outs in that top of the 5th inning, or yeah, bottom of the 4th inning. Yeah, we had to come out strong with our bats. So you know, we were just ready to just continue to roll on. Yeah.
For you, you know, coming up as big as you were, it was strong, great performance for you today. Only 2 base hits, a walk, had 2 strikeouts. You didn't need the big strikeout pitch. You let your defense help you out there. Of course, Delaney started that line drive double play outage short. But just talk about just what it was for you, because I know last week for you had a few walks, but today you bounced back and really shut this lineup down.
So when we were watching film, we realized that they were a contact team, so we were just going to attack them in the zone, try to let our defense do the work. I mean, we worked on defense a lot this week, so we you're just ready to come out strong on defense, and I trusted in my defense, so I really didn't have to prepare to throw like a bunch of strikeouts because I had faith in my defense that they were going to get it done behind me. We had diving catches, diving into the fence, grabbing balls out of literally nowhere. Like, we just double plays. Like, our defense is insane, so I don't need to go up there and have 10 strikeouts. I just trust in my defense all the time.
For sure. Congratulations to you. Now, next week is graduation week. Doesn't impact you because you're a sophomore. You got 2 years. But would you guys want to play on Friday? That could interrupt graduation. But I mean, it's a good problem to have for sure. Just talk about the returning to the state semifinals.
So returning to the state semifinals, we're definitely going to have a little bitterness on our tongue. We're not going to go down in third place again. We're going to fight for that first place this year, and you could just tell we're hungry. We're ready for this win against whatever team we get, Wanna Grover, Melissa, and you know what? We've seen both teams, and we're ready for blood. We're not going to let them beat us, and we're going to beat them in the areas that they've beat us before.
All right. Congratulations to you, Tempe, on your 14th win of the year, too.
Thank you so much.
And we will talk to you all next week.
Yes, sir.
Now,
thank you.
Head coach Heather Myers is joining us here. And I was just saying to Tempe, the big winner of this game was probably the wind. I've never seen anything as strong.
It's nuts.
It's crazy. I mean, I think it's been gusting at about 25 all day. But congratulations to you. 3rd consecutive trip back to the state semifinals, 4th in the last 5 years. It's
5th in the last 6 years.
5th in the last 6 years. Excuse me. Thank you for that. But the fact that you guys have been able to put that kind of run together, Heather, just talk about what that means to this program, sustaining that over time.
I think it's monumental, honestly. I mean, people graduating every year, and we're still able to reload and be able to compete at such a level that we're going back to the state tournament. I mean, that's impressive. It's a testament to their work ethic. They buy into the things that the coaching staff want, and they put it into action. So it's impressive to watch it happen year after year after year. Just their commitment to being dedicated.
And the interesting thing in this game, I felt like, was there were 2 things. I thought the most important plate appearance in this game for you guys to get going wasn't so much anything in the first inning, but it was probably Braley Meyer's walk that set up Tempe's 3-run shot. And then when Tempe hit that 3-run shot, that seemed to kind of take the edge off this team, if you will, because there's always going to be, some stress in a regional championship game like this. But just talk about what Braley's walk did, and then obviously what Tempe's 3-run shot did.
Oh, yeah. Anytime we're able to work a walk, it shows the maturity and the discipline that we have at the plate. And with the strike zone that we were working with, you're always going to have to make adjustments. And this one was a little wider than we've been used to in the past few rounds. So just being able to see it for the ball that it was instead of normally seeing it as a ball and it being called a strike. So her working that walk was huge. And then, whenever we can score first, that's always a relief. There's always a little bit of tension until we get some runs on the board, and then we seem to kind of settle in and really play our game.
Okay, and I just want to point out, too, that I wasn't your bad luck charm.
You were not.
I broadcast the loss against Birdville in the opening round series, but this one worked out much better. Okay, so 4th playoff game that you all have played, and I think it's 7 that you all have played to this point now.
Yes.
Where, let me see, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 4 of your 7 games that you won via the run rule. Can you just talk about what this killer instinct is for this team? Because it seemed like after Riley had that 3-run double in the 4th to just blow it open, and then that leads to the 9-run inning, that this team has this go for the jugular type of mentality.
Absolutely, all gas, no brakes. We talk about that a lot. We don't want to take our foot off the pedal, especially when we're starting to see the ball better. And once we made the adjustment in the box, we weren't going to stop. So we kind of set on a certain pitch that we were looking for. She continued to throw, and we knew what he was calling strikes as once we got later into the innings. And so I feel like they just really made good adjustments and started blowing it open, and it was nice.
Okay, and then what do you think of Tempe this afternoon? Her defense was really good. She didn't need to throw. She didn't need a lot of strikeouts, only had 2, but her defense was just lights out behind her.
I think she ended up with 56 pitches in 5 innings, which is exceptional pitching to her defense, and that's something that we've talked about. The deeper we get playoffs, the better hitters we're going to see, and so pitching to contact and letting your defense work, because she's got the spin to keep the ball from being hit hard. So there's really not many pitchers like Tempe Perry. Very blessed to have her on our staff, because she's a go-getter, man. She's gonna work hard for her defense. She's gonna work hard to get easy balls for her defense, and that's special.
All right, now the fact that you guys have to wait and see what happens over in Region 2 between Melissa and Prosper Walnut Grove. They play their 2nd game here in just a few moments here. They're going to start at 6 o'clock, and Melissa won the first game pretty convincingly yesterday, 14-2. I know deep down everyone would like to get another shot at Melissa again. I mean, that's it's not it's pretty much an open secret. And so just talk about not getting too hyped up for something like this, and just making sure that you stay focused on the task at hand rather than letting it be so consumed with the opponent, who's obviously really, really good, and they're going for a third straight state title.
Right. Yeah, they're really good. We know they're good, so we know we're going to have to play exceptional on both sides of the ball. I mean, they got a great pitcher, they got great defense, they've got a great offense, but at the same time, so do we. So we can't, just sit there and think, oh my gosh, it's Melissa. So we've been talking a lot about the last time we played them, and I've been telling them, like, they scored 5 runs on us, but none of them were earned. So if we play solid defense like we've been playing, it's going to be a good game. It's not going to be a run roll. I don't see it being a run roll, but we've got to play solid defense. So that's our goal. Stay within ourselves. Don't overhype it. Yes, they're good hitters, but so are we. We've got pitching that can keep them off balance. We just got to do it.
Right. And the one thing about this team that really is, I think people will look at your record and how deceptive it is. 28-10 or 29-10 now, but 9 of those losses were during the tournament schedule, where you guys, we talked about this on the podcast a few weeks ago, where you guys kind of just had to take some lumps early to figure out who you were. But now since you're here, it's kind of like you found your form. Can you talk about what you all really got out of that? Like I said, some tough lessons learned from the tournament schedule to where this team is playing now. What have you seen?
Tough preseason for exposure. So I've always done that because it's easy to see things in game speed. You see where we're making errors, or this wind is nuts, but you see the errors and you see where we need to fix things. So if we see that early, we can fix it throughout practices. It's not going to be, sometimes it's not a quick fix, so we need time. So that's why we go for the exposure early. And I always ask to play really good teams. So we played some pretty tough teams in the preseason.
Right.
But it prepares us for this, not just in, hey, we know how to play clean defense now, but it also helps with the pressure. So they've learned that they can still win under pressure. You see a lot of kids, they crumble, and you won't see that from our kids because they know how to handle the pressure at this point.
Pretty good homecoming today, too, back in Graham.
Oh, yeah, I love being in Graham.
That was
nice.
Pretty nice. Couldn't ask for a better location. The wind would have just behaved itself.
Oh, my goodness, it said 17, and it's like 45. This is insane.
Unbelievable. Congratulations. We'll see you on Monday on the podcast. Thanks for being with us. All right. Heather Myers, the head coach for the Aledo Ladycats, as they move on to the state semifinals for the 5th time in the last 6 years, 3rd consecutive appearance there. Going to get the winner of Melissa and Prosper Walnut Grove. That second game about to get started. It's a 6 o'clock start over at Melissa. And then the other 2 regions, by the way, to let you know, Region 3, Barbers Hill and LaPorte. LaPorte won the first game last night. Second game is at 6:30 down LaPorte. And then Region 4 is Leander and Smithson Valley. Game 2 is at Dripping Springs. That starts at 7 o'clock. Leander won the first game yesterday. So, NTXVarsitySports.com will be with you next week for both the baseball and the softball teams journeying toward the state championships. The softball team will be playing probably in the Metroplex against either Melissa or Prosper Walnut Grove. Baseball will be heading west to take on El Paso Americas. Probably out in Midland would be my guess on there. But we'll have all the details, and NTXVarsitySports.com will be there to bring it to you. So for my producer, engineer, and the brave one, Brian Torres, who had to hold everything together literally, I'm Kevin Lonnquist. And once again, the final score in this Class 5A Division I Region 1 championship game here in Graham, the county seat of Young County. It was Aledo 13 and Abilene nothing. The Ladycats improved to 29-10, and they're moving on to the state semifinals. We'll talk to you all next week. So long from Young County.